Many will be glued to the TV wondering who won the election. We may know the results on election night, or we may have to wait a month, but one thing is certain, either Donald Trump or Kamala Harris will emerge as the winner. Half the country will celebrate, and half the country will mourn. Whoever the winner is will give a grand inauguration speech on January 20th, promising to unite our country. Again, half the country will be cheering, while the other half will be preparing to resist whatever the new president wants to accomplish. You see, our country has unresolved conflicts that will not be resolved by whoever wins this presidential race. In this video, I will illustrate how we can better resolve conflicts and avoid the division prevalent in politics today. You're watching Reengineering Politics, which provides objective information on political matters so that you can make informed political decisions for a better America. If you want to see more videos like this one, please like, share, and subscribe. I consider myself a centrist. Now, some may think that, well, that means I'm lukewarm on every political issue, and I assure you that that's not the case. I genuinely see the merit of extreme views from both sides. I ache for the unborn who don't have a say in their future as much as I hurt for the young woman facing a difficult situation with an unplanned pregnancy or another abnormality that the government shouldn't adjudicate. I love immigrants, their tenacity, their desire to make a better life for themselves and their family. I also desire discipline in who and how many people we allow into our country. I hate wars that accomplish nothing but death and destruction, but I understand how some evil can't be stopped without war. I want everyone to have affordable health care when they need it without breaking the banks of middle-class Americans. I could go on, but I think you get the point. Each of these topics is a source of conflict. Politicians create wedges with these topics to win elections. A typical strategy used by partisan politicians is to accentuate the merit of their viewpoint and demagogue the view of their opposition. This creates a wedge between people who might agree if they knew the truth of the matter. This wedging is effective for politicians. However, it makes it impossible to negotiate a viable middle ground. You see, conflict resolves itself in one of two ways: civil war or resolution. I'd like to explain the right and wrong ways to resolve conflict with a story. Robert and his wife Janice are fighting over what kind of heat to install in their home. Janice wants to heat their home with electric heat because it's the best for reducing carbon emissions and the least expensive to install. Robert argues that electricity prices are high and gas prices are low, so they should install a gas furnace. Robert and Janice have 2 boys and 3 girls. They believe their kids can weigh in to help them resolve their argument. Janice gives her presentation in the living room. She says the environment is important and natural gas is a dirty fuel that will ruin her kids' lives in perpetuity. Electricity is clean and cheap, and it's the way of the future. Only dinosaurs are still installing gas furnaces these days. If you vote for her clean electric heat, you will be assured of a secure and clean future. Robert chuckles as he takes the living room stage. Gas is for heating and electricity is for lighting. It's always been that way. The reason that we use gas is that it's cheaper than electricity and it heats much better. Trying a new heating system is foolish. A proven gas furnace is the only way to go if we want heat when it's cold. As our country converts to electricity, how could there be enough electricity to heat our house when we need it most? The kids are confused. The girls feel like their dad's being mean to their mom. The boys are swayed by their dad's appeal to stick with the proven heating system. It's election day, and the decision is made. The vote's divided along gender lines. 4 girls vote for electric heat, and 3 boys vote for gas heat. Even though the vote was made, Dad and his sons are angry. They install the electric heat. But every month, Dad complains about their outrageous electric bill. The boys complain about how cold they are with electric heating. The girls ignore the taunting because they won the vote fair and square, and the boys are just angry because they lost. Let's reflect on what happened in this decision. Janice and Robert created a wedge in their family. Robert said that gas heating was superior to electricity because it was a proven technology, and then he denigrated his wife's approach. He won the boys' loyalty while angering his daughters. Janice said that electric heat was modern, forward-thinking, and clean. She appealed to the gender gap that had already existed, attracting her female majority to win the vote. Both appeals had nothing to do with making the best decision. Instead, they appealed to the emotions and gender preferences. This divided the family further along gender lines. Let's see how this decision could have gone better. Janice and Robert hire an engineer to evaluate their electric and gas heating options. The engineer models their heating system using a 100,000 BTU per hour heating system for a Colorado home in the Denver area. Gas costs $1 per therm, and electricity costs 15 cents per kilowatt hour. The 90% efficient gas furnace will cost $12,000 to install, and it's going to cost roughly $1,600 per year to heat the home. This furnace emits close to 20,000 pounds of carbon dioxide per year. The electric heating system will cost only $5,000 to install. However, it will cost nearly $6,300 per year in electricity costs. It will emit slightly more than 44,000 pounds of carbon dioxide per year. Now, comparing both systems over 10 years, the gas heating system will cost $35,000, while the electric heating system will cost about $95,000. The gas heating system will emit close to 200,000 pounds of carbon dioxide, while the electric system will emit nearly 450,000 pounds of carbon dioxide. Now, armed with this information, let's see how Janice and Robert act. Janice is discouraged, and she views these results with a high degree of skepticism. It just doesn't make sense. Electricity is all the rage. How can it be such a wrong choice? Robert is gloating as his original assumptions appear to be validated. The engineer informs both of them that there is a third option that they may want to consider. A heat pump uses electricity, but it's much more efficient than electric resistance heating option that he had modeled before. Janice glances at Robert and smiles. "I knew it!" The engineer quickly runs some numbers. Sure enough, the heat pump option is better than electric resistance heating. The heat pump will cost $12,000 to install, but it will use around $2,500 annually in electricity. Over 10 years, it will cost nearly $48,000 and emit over 175,000 pounds of carbon dioxide. It's still more costly, but it's less polluting than the gas heating option. Janice was discouraged because she believed electric heating would be a better option. She tries to carve out just the least little victory that she can, so she brags and she says, "See, electricity pollutes less than gas." Robert replies, "Is it really worth spending an extra $1,000 each year for such a small environmental benefit?" Janice and Robert decide it's best to go with a gas furnace to stay within their budget. Instead of approaching their family with two choices and advocating for both, Robert and Janice summarize their findings and present them to their children. Now, some of you may question my analysis. Heat pumps are more efficient in mild winter climates, and they're an excellent choice for heating when electricity rates are modest or natural gas is scarce. As for carbon emissions, each location has a different carbon emission profile based on how electricity is being generated. Colorado uses natural gas, coal, wind, and solar. Iowa will use a lot of wind energy. Washington and Oregon use a lot of hydropower electricity. Both of these states will better support an electric heat pump solution. My point in this video is not the technical analysis of the heat pump versus a gas furnace. It's how this decision was reached. In the conflict-ridden approach, Janice and Robert established their positions based on emotional appeal, divided their family, and then they arrived at a poorly vetted solution. In the conflict resolution approach, Janice and Robert evaluated competing choices and hired an objective expert to help them make their best decision. Abortion, climate change, racial inequality, immigration, healthcare, gun control, and many other political topics are not as straightforward as selecting a home heating system. However, we can follow this simple example on more complex problems. I briefly summarized my views on these topics at the start of this video. These issues deserve much more attention to create viable solutions that serve the most Americans. I've attempted to do this kind of an analysis in my book, Engineering Unity. The point of this video is to illustrate how difficult decisions can be argued and debated before spinning them in public in an attempt to win votes and further divide our country. I sincerely hope that whoever wins the presidential election in 2024 will attempt to create a logical basis for honest debate instead of the political nonsense that has divided our country during this presidential campaign. Rather than resisting whoever occupies the White House or Congress in 2025, let's encourage our lawmakers and our president to reasonably consider both sides and develop well-formed solutions instead of decisions that further divide us. If you want to hear more about problem solving than problem venting, please subscribe to my channel to get notified when I publish new videos. If you're open-minded and you want to learn more about politics, please join my Reengineering Politics Facebook group. I've left a link to the group in the description below. And if you want to explore political issues more deeply than you can in weekly videos, I recommend my book, Engineering Unity, A Path to Resolving Political Polarization in the United States. Each chapter highlights relevant political topics presenting the positions of the left and the right and a viable compromise between the two. Thanks for watching, and I hope you return for more political insight that's neither left nor right.